our website up
Right.
on that like monitor. That's a good one. And then maybe we could show some of the work we're doing, some of the work we've done, kind of maybe explain more. I'm trying to give people more gist of what you do. That's the biggest thing I struggle with is like explaining more to people like what we're doing internally, how we're helping them with like, with the website, with the ads, whatever it is, and actually trying to tell people like we can make anything you want is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because I always say to you, I can make anything I want, and I believe I can make anything I want. And honestly, the idea would be to not like I always think about how to explain what I do to you so that you could sell it in a way that's not like, hey, we could code whatever you want, because nobody understands what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the best way to explain that to people?
I think breaking it down by like steps was the one that I see working right now. Like telling them we need to take certain steps, like needing certain things. Certain things help you, pictures, content, getting the logo, kind of gist of what they want to say. Some people know they want a simple or a very immersive website or an online store. We hover all those categories, which is nice.
That's the first thing then, because I guess that's what it is. Like I can sit down, when I sit down and make a website, what I do is I make a structure, like a base structure where anything that goes in there, like it doesn't look like anything. All it really is blank code, blank templates.
Mm-hmm.
But in seconds, if I put in the pictures and videos, that's when it looks like a website. So I guess that's really what we need from these clients is the actual content that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And also their vision. Like if they can give us we can't recreate their vision, but we can work with their vision, which is what we're trying to do. Then the hard part is actually communicating that back and forth. Like Annie was hard because it was short communication.
No, that's we'll give that one a gist. But Annie's Pet Sitting LLC, based in Florida, finally completed. Did the business cards, the flyers, the logo. Kind of something we dabbled in. Definitely could help with and know people that do that type of work as well. Also deal with social media, and we're more on the website side of the business and the online shops, anything like that. And you can pull Annie's over here to maybe get another.
What we could also do is, what I'll do is when I edit the video, I could put this up on the thing.
The screen.
I think I could do that now because of the editing
nice.
software I bought.
Yeah, so like pretty much just she wants pages of websites, kind of gives an idea of what she does, some pictures of animals she's worked with. This is completely her preference. That's the biggest thing. I feel like we need to elaborate is like you can go from scratch with us. You can go off something you see online. If you like XYZ website, we can use that as a reference to build your website. I feel like we've seen it all so far, thankfully.
That's the bit. I think if people have links to other websites that they like, that's been the biggest. That's been the most successful I've been able to get to exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Because people, as much as like we want to make custom websites and unique websites for these businesses, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of websites, if not millions. So like, there's gonna be some similar that you like, and then we make it unique based off of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's turning a surface level idea into an actual code and a website, and it's very difficult to, I feel like, to translate sometimes what they're actually looking for versus what we're creating, and that's kind of our purpose. Is we're not trying to dump you off like Wix or Shopify, and then you're just lost and you didn't get what you wanted, and now you're unsatisfied. We're in your pocket the whole time, and you have a team with us. So it's like we're constantly changing things, constantly updating how you like it, anything really in between. But it's up to us to make sure we're like up to the fine point of keeping up to those standards of what do they want, being efficient, making it more interchangeable, things like that. I feel like
that's what. That's true. Because I was gonna say like there's got to be a way that we can come up with a nice system that we can can kind of be our business where
Yeah.
like, hey, we can convince people that like
Not convinced, but break it down. Like, these are the steps. Like, not an open-ended conversation saying we'll talk about this, we'll maybe see where it goes, blah blah blah. It's for us to move forward. We need, a logo, some pictures to get a gist of what you want. Throw it on a website, send you a template,
yeah.
and then go from there. You pretty much can tell us every second of every day how much you want to change the template, online store, etc. Make it however you need.
Yeah, like the updating and changing as we go is kind of like what we can highlight rather than like, hey, we have ideal communication up front. Like we have this system where we can just communicate exactly what you want. We understand your vision because like we're not going to. We're never going
No.
to. But what we will do is like you're saying, have a team behind you 24/7
Mm-hmm.
and it'll forever be changing. And like I said yesterday with Mo's site, when we give them the site, it's the worst it'll be.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's the case for like if you sign up for a Wix site or whatnot, but like you have to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, this is the worst your website will be, and all you have to do is speak and it gets better.
That's the biggest thing I feel like is building the foundation. Like what we're doing now with the sneaker store. We're building a foundation. We're worried about the utility, getting the site to function, putting out a base saying, this is here we go.
Yeah.
This is us after a day or two. The site's working, everything like that. And pretty much we just need content, videos, your descriptions about your business, like personal things that we wouldn't want to put and they wouldn't want us to put. Like, these are descriptions. Clearly, you see people like having things said how they want it, if I said that correctly.
Mhm.
Excuse the grammar. But being there for that, I think is huge too. So, like, building the foundation, we need to do. Because they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But then we need to just build it and then be like, here's what we got. Here's the concrete. You just need to put the siding on and the roofing. It's like,
Yeah, because once people see anything, and that's what our goal was with the templates, which we've kind of strayed away from, but like that was the goal. Like, have people see something that looks like theirs.
Mhm.
It's like, oh shit, that's my website. And it has their logo, it has everything they say, and then their brain starts filling in the pieces that we don't control.
Mhm.
And that's the ideal connection, is like, hey, you give me ideas of a website, like websites that you like the look of, the the theme of. You give me your content, and then we give you a base, and then it's like,
endless.
then it's just from there it makes sense. Like everything, like we're communicating well because, well, we have a base that we could work with, and she can look at and adjust based on her vision.
And even if that base isn't it, we can completely start fresh and go with the new base.
Yeah, which is not a problem.
That's
at all.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's like the organic market with the AI market, where doing a very similar thing, but we understand that personal, human, conscious side of it, where we could literally turn your dream into a reality pretty much.
Yeah.
And most of these people we're targeting don't have social media, that's our target market, is to help these people build the online presence. So for them to go from no logo or maybe just a minimal logo and seeing a website that you just created in 2-3 days,
Yeah, literally.
it means the world to some of these businesses. So it's
That's like Reyes, dude. Like, he literally, what did he say? He needs a simple website, and now he has a website. Like, he now has a website, and like I was saying, we could kind of contact the guys that are doing marketing. But
Mhm.
I hope this is not coming up in your mic.
Going to see if both got it adjusted
Yeah,
to
that
live
would
audio
suck.
feed.
I think it kind of picked up both, whatever. But yeah, rather than, or yeah, like once, so if Reyes' site was up, which we'll pull it up, I have to actually run it locally. Might take a
We got the domain too. It's going to be the Reyes.
What does he want his domain?
ReyesJunkRemoval.com. Check it out. Definitely. Got some other ones dropping. Annie's Pet Removal.
So he
Annie's Pet Removal. I said
pet removal.
Annie's Pet Sitting LLC. Limited hype. Kittery. Coming soon. Not saying much on that. Besides, we'll show the website that we're working on.
Yeah.
Give a tease.
Very strong removal. So, what was I saying? So he doesn't he didn't have anything. He's like, oh, I need a simple website. He doesn't even have content for. He has a couple pictures of the before and after.
Mm-hmm. Reviews.
And now, right, and a couple reviews. And now I'll have a website, which basically we know what websites do. And then, if we kind of did what we were saying and gave him somebody who does the marketing and content side of things and made all this content for his junk removal company, he'd look like 1-900 Got Junk tomorrow. Like,
it's a night and day.
Night and day, and he doesn't really have to do anything except pay, obviously. But
but it'd be
it's not that much for what he would be getting.
And if we're offering monthly, most of those media companies offer monthlies.
Yeah.
If you're paying someone $200, $300, $400 to two companies, you know what I mean? Mind you, we're charging him whatever the breakdown is on the website. It's your business is going to be overnight. It's going to be flipped. You have someone doing your content, you have someone doing your social medias, every account. Then you have us making the website, us talking to our guy that knows that, and then we're talking to him like, hey, we'll link all these new things, we'll put these new pictures. But then we have these guys not really working for the website guys, but we know working for their companies.
Yeah.
Just sending us the content at that point.
Yeah.
It's not even going to go through them, and then he's just going to have a constantly updated system of his whole online business. That's just it's going to be unreal. Yeah. I think that's the whole new market you see right now is editors getting paid $200,000 a year, people that actually know how to use these coding and AI tools, not surface level AI, like asking it to give me a riddle.
Yeah. AI wise, I think this changes the subject a little bit, but the amount I use AI to do the work that I do is pretty unbelievable at this point. If it was 2 years ago, I would do the same work in the same amount of time, pretty much, except now it's just night and day easier and fine-tuned. Like, something that would take me an hour to research and find the right answer takes AI 12 seconds to give me the response. But that doesn't necessarily mean somebody else can do what I do. No, now I have the skills to use AI to do what I can do.
Better than that person, like I'm saying, is doing it at surface level.
Exactly.
You know how to code and speak to the AI, so it's going to be set forth.
Which I didn't realize people don't use ChatGPT I do.
This is a weird comparison. I don't know. This is my head, but if you have me and you working on a car, I'm just blindly like a blind mechanic just working on the car for 4 hours versus someone tuning the car for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. That I think is a comparison. That's people using AI.
Yeah.
Just changing the oil, changing the windshield wiper fluid, doing the very base bells and whistles most people can do.
Yeah.
And then the guy, 4 hours of his work, he's doing he's cleaning the cylinders, cleaning the engine. He's fucking giving you a new exhaust pipe. He's actually tuning the car. So you're saying it takes you the same amount of time to do the work, but the work is that much more enhanced, that much more secure.
Yeah.
What you can do in 4 hours now is unimaginable with the code.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sitting there coding 20 more websites in 4 hours, like an automated machine.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Your work quality increased.
Yeah. And it also doesn't mean that the client, like Wix and Shopify and all these things are trying to push, it doesn't mean that they can do it.
Well, because I don't think that increases. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Us and the organic growth using the AI internally, not in a productive
right
not saying we're using
You're
AI
not selling,
to make money or to make the most websites possible. It's using it to make your website the best possible.
Yeah.
And
that's fire.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
That's how I see AI. It's crazy how, you have to use it, I think, to understand what it could do for the world. But I realize that not many people use AI to do many things. It's in a lot of things, but people don't use it to their advantage. Like you're saying, they use it at base level. It's this thing could do problem solving things for you that require it's like that thing. It reminds me of this idea that I don't know who it was. I think it was Mark Cuban, but no, Jeff. It was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day, jeans and a white T-shirt, and you see, or no, the black sweater or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
And you see him in all the interviews, the media things. He's always wearing the same thing, and he said I just have a closet full of the same thing because when I wake up, that's one less decision I have to make and one more decision I could use somewhere else. And he was like, that's how I fill my day, is by that, eliminating decisions that are useless and adding decisions that are pretty meaningful to your life. And that's how I see AI, is it's not like it's like it's eliminating all of those extra decisions that you have to make or like think about, like you're saying, fine tuning. It just eliminates all of that and allows you to think way bigger things, like things you literally never thought of before. And I think that's what people don't understand about AI, is it allows things that are literally never thought of before. And that's actually crazy now that I say that, because I've been saying for years that there's going to be a cultural revolution. I've been saying this for like 6-8 years, but like there's a cultural revolution, and the reason I say that cultural revolution is because I think since like the internet and Steve Jobs was around, people have stopped coming up with ideas that are straight unique, like things that don't exist in anybody's mind come to life, like
with innovation.
With innovation and technology. Like Steve Jobs, for example, was like
no creative thoughts because we're so tuned into like that technology.
Right. I guess
like
so. We're focused on what
your thoughts come from that, like the AI or what.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's more. I don't know the definition of innovation, but if I think it maybe so, we're focused on innovation, not like revelation.
Like the creativity, like we're saying, all these buildings being put up, they're very symmetrical. Everything happening right now in the Industrial Revolution seems like it's just very...
Yeah.
Things just happen for no reason. There's no style. There's no safety. Things just...
Right. If you went and built a skyscraper in Boston, like, it's going to look pretty similar to the rest of them.
It's just the vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're, like... I think humans are capable of somebody building a building in Boston and people looking at it and being like, what the fuck is that? Like, that doesn't even make any sense to my brain. A building that is structured, that whatever it is. And I think nobody's done that since like the internet and Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was like, put font on a fucking computer, and they were like, this is like ones and zeros. All it can do is be bits and pixels. And he was like, no, I want fonts, like a calligraphy, because he took a calligraphy class. So he was like, I want the calligraphy on the computer now. And they were like, that's literally impossible, Steve. And then he did it. They did it. Like, that's an example of, like, this didn't exist. It's impossible. This guy just thought of it, and now he did it. That's not that great of an example because calligraphy exists, so it's, like, weird.
But I think it backtracks a lot. Like in the Leonardo da Vinci book, like, he's doing all these creative things, but there's no other distractions. Like, he's not on Instagram or TikTok or all these little things you're saying, or deciding between high or low socks, or showering with the water warm, hot, or cold. Like, all these little privileges, whatever it may be. He has the chance for his brain to be full immersed, full creative, thinking out as not just sitting in a city, in a box, on your phone, on your computer, and then in your break time, you're on TV, and then when you're you know what I mean? It's all screen.
Yeah.
It's not reality.
And I think that's what AI is going to allow us to do, is like, it's going to kind of fill that, like, honestly, like, I don't know, that I was going to say some extreme, like, AI is going to replace us wanting to watch TV, but I think it's going to allow us to want to do more things than watch TV, if that makes sense.
It's quick.
Right.
It's like you said, like when I was on the call with Mike last night, it was, we both had a common question. What are 48 simple games?
Yeah. And
then instead of him and me going on Google and firing through 20 different tabs and deciding, we both went on ChatGPT, and it's like ChatGPT, and then it's like 2 seconds, boom, we got everything we needed. We both agreed. It all works.
Yeah.
And then it's not like it's making us any better, smarter, you know what I mean? But it's just making that simple thought that could have just taken up 20 minutes of our time.
Yeah.
Now it's whatever. And now we're on to something else, making another decision. So we're not thinking about a stupid thing, like, not stupid, but like little thing in the sense of the grand scheme of things, like a color of something or whatever it may be, because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
I think about all the, like, that's my whole day, and honestly what I combat every day is like thinking of these little tiny decisions that mean absolutely nothing, but like take up a lot of my brain power and space. And it's like,
Like when I was getting parking tickets, it
Yeah.
takes up time in your brain. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. It
Yeah.
takes up time in your brain. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. You can't sit there with these little things in your brain and did I do this? Guilt, this. Should I not have parked there? Should I have this? Should I have said this to him differently? I shouldn't have said this. Like it, I do it all the time. I think everyone's guilty of it.
No, yeah,
In
that's
some way
a
of
normal
like
thing.
the self judgment is the worst judgment, but like self love's the best love. You gotta, if you can make yourself laugh, that's the best one, bro. Like I don't know, you gotta really be there.
Yeah, bro. Let's fucking
Pop up Reyes.
I was gonna say I kind of want to. I could show like the clip of like the screen, but I think we should sort out what Reyes' site's gonna look like right now, and like what these things might say while live.
So yeah, I can get my phone or whatever. If you have the business card, kind of go off that. Some of his services,
Yeah,
explaining more. So like what he does has the number on there.
and I kind of want to. We could show this and it'd be like I want to explain. I could even explain to you like what we're doing to make these websites is not. This is like some things I don't think other people. I don't know. Like you can't. I would like to explain the code and like for people to see the code and that. Look, you don't really understand what I'm doing, but what I'm doing comes out to this, and then like really separating what we're doing from like what Wix and Shopify and Squarespace are doing. Where like I'm not giving you a platform where you can edit what I'm creating for you freely. Like what's behind that Wix and Shopify and Squarespace website is all of this weird jumbo language that nobody understands, and like that's what I'm doing, and that's what is truly creating all your custom websites. So I don't know, I think it's important for people to see that it's not just like I'm over here like
Using Wix or Shopify.
yeah
it's
or
dumping you
just
off of the website.
dragging and dropping pictures like in a
On
way that they
Canva.
can figure out. Like no, like I went to 4 years of school for this. I don't know if I learned that much in school, but I've learned this language for the last 4 or 5 years and like practice it every day.
In the
And it's
industry
like-
and outside the industry.
In and
It's
out.
like, yeah, it's
And it's
that's the biggest one.
I don't know. We could show a little clip of that because I think once people see a little bit of code, you kind of understand what's going on a little better.
Yeah, break
Because-
it down more how elements work and like the different.
I hate nothing. I mean, I've been saying it more and more when we like talk to more and more people who want websites. I hate how people don't like they don't know what it takes to make a website, and that's fine. Like obviously that's
They
their whole
shouldn't.
business. They shouldn't know how to make a website,
Nobody should.
but now everybody thinks they do
Because of
because
Shopify and Wix.
Wix and Shopify and Squarespace and GoDaddy and all these AI things that literally just make it for you off of a prompt. Or Wix is like, you start with the template and you drag and drop. The reason it's so easy is like I can do that like for people, right? Like if we're doing Limited Hype's website, I can make them a website like that. But that's not like, what does that leave you with? That leaves you with
It's not our goal.
that leaves you with a very limited form of developing and design where like okay, like looking at this code, like every time you drag something onto Wix's screen, code like this needs to be generated, right? So on their back end of things, what are they going to have, an infinite amount of things that it could look like? No, it can only look a certain amount of ways
Because it's a template they're creating.
because there's only a certain
Limits.
amount of code that they have to develop, like to make these things.
It's very limited.
Very limited. So once it's designed, it's like whether it looks great or not, it's like it can't look any different than that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this allows us to do, is just make it fully custom.
It's
like,
raw.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a couple of sites that look the same because people want simplicity and things look good. Like there's a common theme for what websites should look like, but like now we're doing looking into Dorfman stuff. That's going to be so unique. You can't make that with Wix. You can't even start to make that with Wix.
No.
And if you tried, it would be 10 times harder than paying someone $1,000 to just go and make it.
And even these e-commerce shops, you see like linking them through the back ends, getting everything right. Even just the pictures,
Mhm.
going through and adding pictures,
Yeah.
simply is not just a right-click copy-paste. It's
That's
a lot
true.
of different
Yeah.
things. It's inspecting the image, pulling it from the actual code, the raw image from the code and then transcribing it into your code.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I mean, even you, like, it was difficult for you to, like, you would not have figured out. No, you would not have figured out how to inspect an element and get the link of the image from it, unless I told you. And even nobody, who else can do that? Like,
but even so, like, even when you told me and I'm right next to you, I still didn't want to do it.
Right, and then it's just outside of your skill set.
No,
like,
I didn't want to do it. When you said right click, save as I'll do that night and day.
That's pretty funny.
Everyone could do that.
Yeah.
But clearly, I was an example of doing what everyone could do, and it still didn't work.
So
I could still do exactly what you said under your supervision or whatever it may be, and you watching, and it still doesn't work.
Yeah, which is exactly what Wix and whatever is.
It's worse.
Right? Is like everyone's like, oh, this is great. This is so easy, and then they go to do it, and they don't really want to do it anymore. And it didn't work anyway.
I know many people that showed me Wix websites. Like, they're telling me to go on their website, and I went on their website, and I was looking, and there's a bunch of errors, not grammatical. These are formatting errors. The words, everything is different. The lines a little, all these things that it doesn't make sense.
The United. Bring up another website we did. United.
Hype to get people on this podcast, though, for real. That's like one of the biggest goals, I would say, for me with this is like getting people we work with on the podcast, talking to them about what we're doing, what they're doing, both of our visions, the stories, kind of getting a gist of the whole thing, breaking down like how we help them, giving people an idea of what they do. Just, I feel like it's going to be mutual on both parties, like the content-wise, everything. Like, it's just really trying to help shout you out, give you the Instagram post.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your website, not here's a website, buy.
Yeah.
And then hit you in 2 months with a surprise check. Like, that's not what we're doing. We're consistent, upfront. This is the other one.
Yeah,
which one is this?
Dude, so this one, she actually, I think, wants some more work to be done. She wants this application to change, but I don't know if she did it already or what. But this was a site I did a while back. This is a Wix site that I did for someone kind of before we started this.
Where, like, you would sign into their Wix account and just...
Yeah, and I made it for them. And or I redid their website. That's why I did it Wix. I wouldn't have done it Wix, but they already had a Wix site, and it was
all the code was on there.
Yeah, it was like terrible formatting and whatnot, so I redid it into this on Wix. And she contacted me a couple weeks ago and was talking about how, like, there's just these issues with, like, the team. If you go here into the board, like, the images are like overlapping on mobile or whatever. I was like, all right, like, I'll go on and fix it. So I went on and fixed it, and then went on the next day again, and it was like, it went back. Like, it was like, I kept changing it, and it was like not doing it. Like, it was just issue, whatever, something was happening that wasn't working, and I don't know. It just happens all the time with that stuff.
So imagine people, it's just tough, because then you have people dealing with that, and then imagine you have an operating business, not even just an ad website. Like, you have a storefront or something like that, and you're not taking sales, or the sales stop working, or this.
I've honestly never heard anybody who has a Shopify site say be like, I love my Shopify site.
No.
It just works. It's able to sell their product.
It's almost like they threw in the towel. It's like they tried to look for, most people I talk to at least, it almost sounds like they've accepted it. They've accepted their website.
Like, this is how it has to look.
This is how it has to be. It's kind of like a life contract you sign and whatever, and they hit you with bullshit fees later on. And then versus us, it's open-ended relationship. It's not, here you go, bye. It's, congratulations on your website.
Yeah.
What else can we do next? Do you like it still? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Filling any insecurity or thought. Sending invoices, sending emails, calls, text, Facebook, anything we need to do to make these people feel comfortable that we're legit, you know?
All right. You want to get that business card?
Yeah, I think it's on I think I sent you it. Oh. Via email on the website.
Via email.
And then pull information from here. So yeah, this is a big...
My email or the other one?
The other one. But this is a big push. So this guy was super quick, super responsive. Sent his business card, sent us a bunch of pictures of reviews, kind of a gist of what he's doing, what he wants. Very simple website. Gave us a rundown. Helps us a ton. Actually, probably one of the quickest websites I think we've got done so far. I think this was like a 3-day project. I could say right now, I think
Yeah.
3 days over the weekend. So as much as he wanted to contribute, that's what we got. Other projects I feel like are typically month we've had. That was one of the longer ones. Simply just how fast your responsiveness will be. Really, we're ready to go whenever. Once these contracts are signed or once you give us verbal authority to move forward, that's pretty much how we're going to go about it. I think that's the step-by-step process we need to take too. Like saying, once you fill out or once you sign this gives us like, sign this, then we start. And then once we start, then it's like kind of build them that foundation and then send them that. So the signature, foundation, and then once from there, it's just our end we're receiving, bells and whistles, blah, blah, blah. And how fast we can like communicate that process, I feel like is going to be the biggest bread and butter, honestly. Like dealing with Annie for a month and then dealing with Reyes for 3 days teaches us, I feel like, more than anything else. Like what we need to establish, what we need to learn. Like I feel like we wouldn't have had Reyes for 3 days if we didn't have Annie for a month first. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew. We know now. Like the fake check. Like, so basically it's a fun story, but we got a fake check. I'm not sure if we said that last pod, but that was pretty much that. So the fake check, that was pretty much the bread and butter to get our gears going. It was our first job. The guy paid us $4,000 for a $2,000 website. Too much money. And then he said, can you send back the money to my Zelle account? And we realized it was a scam. Went to the bank, told him to bounce it, whatever it was. And everything is fine because it's software. So it's not like we sent a product or anything. That got our gears going, though, to get on the bank account, make that almost immediately, establish that foundation, understand the state laws we're dealing with for the LLCs and the bank accounts, mailing addresses, etc. Trying to get that all established. And I think that really kind of put a lot in perspective. Things you complain about in the moment, I feel like, help you deal with things very quickly in the future. So us dealing with the fake check helped us understand the first real check by a mile. Getting the first customer, or getting one of the first customers to be a month long, that got us to understand the next customer. So it was only 3 days long. Kind of grabbing that right away, I feel like, bro. I don't know what you're thinking, but
My fucking phone died, so.
all right, bet.
It didn't die, my storage is up.
Our storage is up.
I don't really know what to do.
I hope the audio is still running on the thing.
Audio is still running.
All right, if the audio is still running and we're just switching the camera angle, that's fine. I'm just gonna stretch the legs a little. It's nice now. We got the wide angle. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, honestly. Really establishing the steps, not just for the customer, but for us as well. Just to make it more insurable, and we know internally for our guys, for our employees, like what needs to happen. It's not like an open-ended forum with, like, I don't know. It's not going to be an open-ended forum with any questions or curiosities. Like, you and Pat aren't going to see these things and be like, what do we need to do? It's going to be like, social media info sent, contract signed. Like, you guys know what you need to take now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be like what we have now on the Excel sheet. Website needed.
Yeah, it's like we know exactly the
It's
pieces we need to move
Website,
forward.
service, website, steps needed. And then it's going to be like, get contract. And then that's going to be, you know what I mean? Once we get that signed off on, that'll be pretty much the bread and butter, I feel like. I probably said that 6 times over.
Bread and
You got
butter.
up to fix the camera, and I was just literally talking to the empty seat. I felt like I was interviewing myself.
Giovanni Reyes.
Giovanni.
Free estimate, house clean out. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's really what it comes down to.
A lot of that stuff.
So we can do...
Make different headers.
Yeah, well, maybe...
Like the 3 different sections. Like literally how you have it going down with the 3.
Yeah, each of those, maybe.
Yeah.
House clean outs, for sure. House clean outs.
And you could put house/shed clean out to chop up term.
And then we could, highlight free estimate.
So yeah, kind of giving the perspective of like, this guy sends us the pictures basically. He gives the general gist of what he wanted, and then we kind of go off that, give a little of our creative touch, and then we'll send him this website. He told us the domain he wanted. Very inexpensive to host most of the time. And then yeah, we go from there. This should be up and running tonight, so definitely check it out. It's going to be, I think the domain was www.reyesjunkremoval.com he's going with. It's going to be exciting. But and then other cases, we had the guy Mike Dorfman we're working with right now for his. He sent us a whole entire Google Docs. I was on a meeting with him last night. We have everything laid out step by step of what we need. Creating contracts, going to sign off on contracts. He's 95% positive, so hopefully we'll get that other 5% within the week. Dorfman. And he's going to help us with the podcast too. That's fire. So making him do that. Did we show the limited height one yet?
No.
Definitely could show that. I'm debating how to sit now. Like, do I sit this way or face?
It's fine.
And then we just face.
Alright. This is a great example of why AI is great. We could sit here and come up with our own prompts for this, or we could AI generate them, and chances are he'll like them anyway.
Also understanding that
Because I don't know how to spell.
what I'm saying with surface level AI, what I mean by that too is like, it's a language. Like AI itself is a language, and it's not English. That's
Yes.
what most people think. Most people, especially in America, they think every technology or thing or everything they're using is English based. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's not the case with AI. It's pretty much, can you I don't know, can you verbiate, or can you pretty much say the language correctly? Do you know how to speak about code?
Yeah.
Not just code me something in Python.
Also about
It's like,
reading the responses, and at least this is what I do. I feel like I'm really good at it, like at prompting AI and like understanding how to manipulate it. But what I would do, like if you read the response and you understand how the AI is thinking, like how it came up with that response. It's like, okay, I gave it this info and it used these pieces for whatever reason to come up for this response. So now I need to come back with a new question or reword my question with these pieces or leave these pieces out, which is like, it all says the same thing, but the AI, I don't know, it's all based on what the internet knows. So
that's really
if
the
you kind of
biggest
just
one.
think about it.
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to thinking about it. Yeah, it's not English, but if you just think about,
How
like,
to
if
word
somebody
it.
was going to tell
Manipulating
you
it. Yeah.
how to like a problem that you need to solve, what would you need?
Kind of like, remember, I don't know if you ever had this in tech class or in the technology classes, but it was Mr. Powers, I remember specifically, or Mr. Armstrong. They both
Yeah,
did it.
I remember both of those.
Peanut butter sandwich.
I don't know about the peanut butter sandwich.
So they have you make a peanut butter sandwich, but he's non-verbal, where like in a non-aggressive way, respectfully,
Yeah.
he was acting like he wasn't speaking to us, and he was only going off the words we said, kind of like an AI.
Yeah.
And we had to give him instructions on how to make a peanut butter
Oh,
sandwich.
right. Yeah, I did do that.
So like we were like, grab the knife, and he would grab the blade.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
like, put the knife in the peanut butter, and he stabbed the peanut butter. And then we were like little things you say,
Yeah.
it's not direct, it's surface level.
That's a great example,
Mhm.
actually.
And then actually, I think the funniest one was we were saying he finally had the two pieces of bread like this, and then we were like put
Yeah.
them together, and he just smashed them together so hard. And it's like not.
Follow the instructions.
It was the funniest thing. You know?
That's why everyone's also scared of AI, though, is they think it could just... Actually, that is a fear, I think, of AI, that, like,
Mhm.
we get to a point where it can do a lot of the things that we need it to do, but it won't only understand... It'll take things at face value. So, like, if it starts, like... Honestly, I heard this in a podcast recently with, like, the idea of a genie. Like, you know how, like, you could screw up your genie wish because you said, "Oh, I want, you know,
whatever it is,
and then they're like, "Oh, no problem," and then they
You get
give you it, and it
exactly
just
what you
screws everything up.
Yeah.
Like, it just fucks you over. But it's the same thing they think will happen with AI. Is like, you know, we kind of ask it to do things. It's like, sure thing. It does it, and it like
It's like here.
yeah.
Kind of like when we're trying to make the logos via AI. We're like, make us this logo. We're even giving it a prompt from Canva with a previous logo. We're giving it so many variables and prompts.
Yeah.
Even with the right language, it's making us far from what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And not even close.
Yeah.
And then you start typing English, like, oh, this doesn't look like a word. It's not English. It looks like it's letters, but it's not.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
there. It's the
Yeah.
AI language.
Yeah. That's
whatever.
the most interesting.
So then you
one.
say, oh, change the header, whatever, and you start saying those things, and that's just what you're conscious of.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not-
It has no idea.
It's almost like it's like speaking to someone, you guys don't know the same language, and you're both
right.
And it's
Yeah.
like you saying something slower. That's the funniest
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
to me, bro.
Yeah.
I swear to God, to date. I'm not trying to, but it's most of the time it's Americans doing it to other people.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know, someone doesn't know English, and you slow down the English for someone. I've seen it so much. And
Yeah,
they're
that's
like,
pretty stupid.
thank you, hello, how are you? Like it's not, which is sick
It's not
with
gonna
us.
work.
Which is kind of cool. Is that very minimal, Spanish knowledge, but definitely have a good sense.
Yeah.
But website has been, I'm not sure how to say it in
It's pretty
Spanish.
universal.
I don't know how to say it in Spanish. I'm not sure if there's like a direct word.
Yeah.
Definitely look it up real quick.
Let's look
Curious.
up the translation.
How to say
of the
website?
website.
Yeah, because
We'll ask AI.
every time I say it though, like we do the whole intro. I do the whole intro in Spanish and then kind of break the conversation. But that I never learned that professional side of the language, which I'm curious to really dabble into now. It's like you learn, which is great, but you learn base, languages in school, but teaching like how to close a deal or how to speak to someone and say like, I want to present you with a business.
Yeah.
Things like that. Those skills, bro. People in New York that are trilingual, quadlingual, all these things, all these different languages, bro. You come up. If they moved up 4 hours north, which I'm not saying is the best option,
Yeah.
but it's like your pay is going to increase dramatically.
Yeah. That's
You're
true.
getting $30K extra a year for all these different jobs. That I see it, bro. We see the job offering
Yeah.
is crazy up here because they don't have it up here. They don't have as much of that up here. So it's like that gap. But then down in New York, that's the norm. Whereas it's almost flipped, where like most jobs you have to be bilingual.
Yeah.
The supply and demand based on the location
Crazy.
off of one skill, being bilingual or trilingual, is dramatic. And it's how you set yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're bilingual and you're understand that that's a skill and not something that hurts you. You know what I mean? Like that is like,
Yeah.
That
Isn't
is-
that an interesting thing? So like
it's a skill.
foreigners, like non-Americans, usually like it almost feels like they feel weird about speaking their foreign language.
Because we present that.
I guess we present it that way, but at least how I think of it, I'm like, you speak two languages? I can't even think about speaking two languages.
Like almost like I think anyone that speaks more than one language, in my mind,
is
has
way
higher
smarter
IQ.
than me. Yeah, like
Your
that,
IQ has to be
just based off of that.
It doesn't make sense to think like
Yeah.
You see how hard it, bro. I tried learning Mandarin, whatever, it lasted a week, and then tried getting back into all these other languages. And sign language is one I really had an interest in because most of my family is hearing impaired.
Yeah.
And like little things like that, but even then, it's so hard, and it's really, I don't know.
These
really,
are all the website translations. Spanish, sitio web. French, site web. German, website. Italian, sito web. Sito web. Maybe a little more like that.
That's
Portuguese, site. Dutch, website. Russian, website.
But see, that's your American. That's like you just anytime you see something that's spelled the same, but it might be a different accent mark. or
No,
something,
for
you're
sure.
just like,
Yeah.
website.
That's-
But no, I think that's
they
a
all
big one,
sound
too.
pretty
It's-
similar. Chinese, even Wangzan. That's like even the W
I'm
itself.
convinced that's not how you pronounce that. But we can
Definitely
run
not.
that. All right, I get your wrong.
Japanese, webusaito.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You see a lot of the terms. I feel like
Korean,
I'm not saying
websaito.
they're the same, but even in other languages, it's spelled.
Asian languages, it's usually a lot based on the pronunciation, I think.
Well, it's crazy how even in other languages, it's still like W.
It's still web. Yeah,
It's
web
still
is
web.
seems to be,
Well, that's
and
universal
even
global.
site seems pretty.
Like the World Wide Web.
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
you know
There
what I
you
mean?
go.
Like it's pretty universal, I would say, like website.
Site web.
That's what I'm saying when I see businesses out in the UK and other shits and
Hebrew,
Facebook
the only
groups.
one to have internet in there. Fuckers.
That's some monopoly shit right there, probably. They're just like so arrogant. They're fucking like, we need to just have our own internet. It's like,
Net's dead.
like you guys want to be a
Interesting.
part of the World Wide Web, the greatest fucking server ever? And it's like, absolutely not.
Oh.
Never. That was good. I think we could wrap it up. Honestly, I think I
We could wrap it up. Except let's figure out on camera
break it down a little bit.
the cost structure. What we want to do.
Costco sounds great right now.
All right. So
Chicken.
how should we go based on? We'll go based on $1,000 check.
So that's a base website. So it's
Yeah.
either what were you saying? So it's a one-page website, 500. That's like a very simple ad. Nothing too immersive. Kind of just very simple. I don't know how else to say it. It's
Yeah.
just very baseline for what you'd like. As long as you like.
Oh, I meant let's go through how we're gonna personally, like business wise, aggregate our
down.
money, or is that what you were doing?
No, that's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
I was just saying like what else.
What we
offer, too.
offer, yeah.
Is that
That's
1,000?
good too.
Because
Yeah.
that 1,000 is our standard thing.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like a
yeah.
package,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
pretty much the standard
Yeah.
bread and butter. Most people hit us up. I need a website.
Yeah,
I want this. $1,000.
yeah,
You start getting more into the storefronts and everything else like that, then that's the 1,500.
Yeah.
Like all these other things. That's operational.
So
$1,000
$1,000. The first thing we have to pay off is people's payment.
Yeah.
And we're paying ourselves as the
Yes.
salary of if somebody was doing that job,
Yes.
right? Okay.
But in the terms of how much is just like equity wise, like how much you want to take, how much you want to take into your pay, and how much you want to just like put back into the company, I guess.
Right. So do we want, like, how I'm thinking about it is like I would get paid hourly, say, for the development, just like Pat would.
Yes.
But I'm going to have more money on the job because there will be a certain percentage of it that is revenue, and then we can take revenue.
yeah. Also, you have more equity too.
Wouldn't my equity be
Pat doesn't.
my
work on the
ability to
job.
take the revenue?
Yeah, as well.
Right.
It's a balance. It's like how much equity you want, how much revenue you want, or like a relationship. I'm not trying to think. I can't think of the word, but they're like if you take more revenue for yourself, you'll just have less equity.
So if
The money's not going to be going to the company. So if they're like, oh, Jared owns 80% of the company, or Jared owns 40% of the company, Matt owns 40% of the company, and Jared's taking 80% of his paychecks, putting them in his pocket, and I'm taking 80% of my paychecks, putting them to the company, it wouldn't be fair in the sense of if you were like, I think we should go spend the money on this for the company. And I'm like, wait, most of that's my money in there because you haven't been putting money in, you've just been taking it.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of like the balance too. You need to discuss, like, not we need to agree on something, but that's kind of like building this now, like
Yeah.
establishing, kind of averaging, you know, how many jobs we're projecting to get, how much we plan on making, and then it's like, yeah, break it down. You know, giving yourself money to pay for things that keep this operating, like rent, food.
Yeah.
That, you know, those are things you need to do.
So let's exclude us from the scenario right now and then just input us where we should be. You know what I mean? Like put out the money that like
So
we know we need to give
for
other
example,
people.
So let's just plug it
whatever.
like two people. Let's say Hunter gets his job and he's going through Pat and it's just them two working on it. That's the goal. That's my goal, is to make it not even through us. Like I want.
All right, yeah, we'll base that scenario,
Base that
so
scenario.
that we're not even getting paid hourly.
No,
for
we're not in
anything.
this.
Okay.
We're not in this. This is $1,000 job because we could just pull our equity out of it.
Right.
With this, you just pull your equity out for the company. And that's just us because there's no hourly. We could figure that out.
So
If
Pat,
we're
how
doing a
much
job,
should
that's
Pat
just
get
us.
paid hourly?
So that question's too broad for me.
It's how much are we getting paid for the website? We have it based on like
Yeah, there's too many
$1,000 for
variables.
20 hours.
That's why the hours is weird, because it's like, what if this is the other variable? What if this is Reyes 3 days, or what if it's Annie 30 days? How do you base that?
But that's what I think. I think we need to have, unless we want to keep changing how much each person gets paid on each job, we kind of have to have a basic structure of each job,
Yeah, easily.
like
You're
a
gonna make this
percentage to
month.
it. Yeah.
And so it's going to be.
And then if
more
you're not
so-
as involved, like that's up for us to be like, hey.
But
get
what
involved.
if the time exceeds that?
It won't. Like that's kind of like, so the reason we're really charging $1,000 is because I'd say it takes 20 hours to make a website in total. So that's $50 an hour. So like that's kind of the base. Like we're getting paid as a business $50 an hour to do the service. So we could base it off that. Like if we go over 20 hours for a website, then that's our fault for losing money. Then we would have to change our
So
cost
us to
model.
be, it will be more efficient. in that
Yeah.
sense. I like that. So write that.
What am I writing?
Just the hourly, like a key almost. Like go down one, and then put like developers $50 an hour. That's not 50, but like what we're charging, like $1,000, $50 an hour for 20 hours on average for a website, or like goal for a website completion. Because that's like internally, that's our goal. Or like internally, we'll tell people like, hey, Hunter and Pat,
Yeah.
we're charging $50 an hour for the company's website, and now we go off that.
Yeah.
And now it's from that $50 an hour, how much hourly? So say the 20 hours, right? Not drawn to scale.
And we don't have to pay Pat $50 an hour.
No, we're not.
We're
You
not.
can't.
We shouldn't.
You're not.
That's you can't do that. It should
Pat's
be,
not getting 50 an hour.
but it also should be more than like 50. Like, because that's a weird thing, right? It's like giving him 25 an hour doesn't mean he's getting half the money. It just means he's getting half the money per hour.
You're going on two variables. You need to go on one. Because you're
But
either
it
going
is
on,
two, because he's
No, but-
doing
yeah, so
he's
he's
getting
doing
paid hourly, and then he's doing a certain amount of work out of the total hours.
it's the same thing.
No, because the hourly is the amount he's getting paid for the 1 hour, but he could do 20 hours of work, you know?
In 3 hours.
Right, and well, yes, but like he could do the full 20 hours of work that cost $1,000, and he'd make 25 an hour. You know what I mean? He did all of the work. We get paid 50 an hour. He gets paid 25 an hour, even though he did every single thing.
We're not getting paid 50 an hour.
For the website, we are.
We're paying people.
I understand. So not us personally. The business is making 50 an hour on a website.
Yeah,
if
we
we
pay
took
Pat.
20 hours, and Pat took 20 hours to do the website, we pay him 25 an hour.
Yeah.
We take 500.
Yeah, then how much does Hunter get for finding the website and then dealing with the guy and then dealing with them? How do you relate that to
No, it's just more pieces to it. I'm just saying, like,
So, Pat, you think 50%? You think developers get 50%? That's
no,
what-
I don't know. I'm just saying we have to take into account, I think, we have to kind of base the price of how much they get paid off of how much of the total hours they're doing.
Yeah.
Because if Pat was doing 20 hours,
If Pat worked on a
we're
website,
going to pay him less.
So if he did, if Pat did a 3-hour website, if you got a website done in 3 hours,
Mhm.
on a $1,000 job,
Mhm.
how much? $75 you're paying him for the website?
No, because it had.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're going off hourly, but then you're saying that's like what I'm trying to say. Like I think you should get paid more, and not. That's what I'm saying. Like it's.
I do think he should get paid 75 if that was the numbers we were putting down.
So yeah, if Pat works.
But he's not working 3 hours.
If
If,
Pat
he was
works
working 3
20
hours, he
hours-
should get $75.
Yeah, you need to make that like a goal though to him. Like, hey, we're going for $1,000 jobs. We're charging $50 an hour for these jobs, and we're paying you, you
Yeah.
know, this much an hour.
I think he knows. Like, to be honest, like in terms of managing development, like me and him are basically 50-50 on all the websites. If not some of them, it's me. But, like it, like whatever percentage goes to that, he just gets it. Like,
Write it down. Write down the numbers.
well, I guess it's just a matter like how much do we want to pay Pat in terms of
We need to
on a 50 per hour scale.
How much do we pay the developer and how much do we pay the sales guy? Hunter got this job. Hunter found the guy. It's his boy at work. He found him. He's doing all the communicating like I do with you. Envision us, but in them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not talking to the guy at all. Everything's through me. Hunter's with Pat for those 20 hours communicating, sending things, Pat sending back.
That's not the 20. Oh, if Pat was doing the code, but like the problem with that is the sales is that we can't do sales hourly because you'd get paid
I'm
nothing.
not saying hourly, but like how much is Hunter? Hunter's a part of the process.
He has to be, but he
How much
also
is he getting paid flat for the job? He's not getting hourly. Sales will just give you money each job.
yeah. So if development has to be more than 50% because it's doing more than 50% of the work.
Yeah.
So if it's 60%.
It's also how much you're paying your employees and how much you want to put back into your equities too. Like that's-
Right. Well, this could be a percentage in itself, like payroll is how much. Well, that's I guess the first thing. How
It's up
much
to them.
out of the 100% do we want to put towards payroll? If we have $1,000, how much do we want to section off and say this is what we're going to split up based on these percentages?
Well, that's what I'm asking. You said 60 for development, so that's the thing. It's like that's $600.
Well, no, this is based on not pay. Like this is total payroll. So like development, sales combined. The rest is, whatever we're spending on the company.
I know. So
revenue.
development's 60%. So that means what's sales?
But it doesn't. But that
Because then the
percentage is
rest is
based
us.
on this percentage. If this is 40%, then development is 60% of that 40%.
I know. How much do the sales get though?
But I'm just like, what would the payroll be first? Like, how much money do we want to put?
How much do you
Towards-
think each sales
because I
guy
think
should get
that-
per job?
What?
How much do you think Hunter and Mike should get per job every time they find one and deal with it for a week on it?
I think it matters how much money we're giving to people. Like that's why I'm saying we need to get this percentage first. Because if you tell me like, oh, we're giving $1,000 out of the 1,000 to our employees, I would come up with a different number than if you said 200.
Well, it's not that. We need money for ourselves. We're getting these people the jobs. We're establishing.
I know.
software.
I'm just saying numbers.
No, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think it's like, I like 50 for the development, and then I think
Out of the 1,000, how much percentage do you want to give to the people doing the work?
75.
Yeah. Which out of $1,000 would be $750. So we have $750 for payroll. And now you have 60% of that going to sales. That means 40%, or development. That means 40% of it's going to sales. So you have out of that, I think that's 300 to give to sales. What should Hunter make off of that? Maybe all of it.
Why would he make off that? That's what he'd make. Yeah, 300. That's his money.
Like, yeah, like that would be the money dedicated to what sales work did, and if Hunter did it all. But I think you should get some of that
For getting him.
for just being the sales guy.
Well, that's the
Like
thing,
just as
everything-
like I'm not like just as like I'm telling Pat how to develop, so like he can't necessarily make the same amount as I am, just like you are with Hunter, even if he is doing the full communication. You told him how to do it.
But that's the part of owning the business is I'm willing to train him on that. I don't want to get paid for that. I want him. That's the thing. It's like with our equity is like us taking that 25% from the 1,000. So I know every $1,000 job, basically every $1,000 job, if you sell, I could tell Mike and Hunter now, you're gonna get $300 every time you sell. Every time you sell and work with these people, not just give me one or flip it off. You know, Reyes website, Hunter's getting $300. I'm not telling him, but like for example. Hunter's getting $300 for the website. You're going to take pretty much the. So what is the development? What is 60% of?
450.
So then we should. So then maybe do you want to try?
What we need
65?
to do is this should be less than maybe 40%, to be honest, because we want to put most of our money into the company or us.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Right. So this should be way less. Then this should be the least, to be honest, because they don't want money anyway.
Well,
So,
I'm
like,
not trying to be rude, but they
No,
told
that's
us.
like that's how we're functioning. Like we're not going to go out of our way to pay them more to keep them because that's not. We don't need to do that. We're trying to keep us
branding,
doing
trying
this.
to get- yeah.
You know, in the end, like
I'm trying to get them jobs.
yeah.
And like trying to really build a future for all of us.
So really, this should be maybe 20. So say we flip it to 25, and this becomes 250.
And then putting that, so that's what I'm a really big believer on, is that switching that is not bad. It's we're putting that into their early equities too. Like if we're saying,
Right, our business just grows in revenue, and
like we're
able to put money into things that are going to grow the business.
and help you.
Yeah,
Like basically the type shit when I was saying, joking like about, oh yeah, I'm trying to buy you a car, like buy everyone a car in the company. And
right.
things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, shit like that. Yeah.
And it's like you not asking for all this money up front and being a stingy person and saying this, and you're saying, I want to help. I see the long-term vision.
Yeah.
Taking that sacrifice almost with us.
Yeah.
I respect
Yeah,
it.
literally, yeah.
You're literally taking it with us. And it's like, even if you haven't started it, you just believing in it or anything like that. So then this would be the sense of
60, 150. So this would be 150. This would be
100.
100.
Seems a little low.
But that's paper. Like, it feels low, right? Because we're doing work, but
But I'm giving them the software to go get 30
Exactly.
websites in an hour.
we've
And
done
clearly-
work for the last 8 months to build a brand, build an Instagram, build a social media.
And also clearly, like, even with the services, it's limited usage internally.
Yeah.
So it's like you can only give someone so much. At some point, they're gonna have to. Take a step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could really open the door for so many people, but
That's kind of and that's kind of what I meant by before. Like, Hunter is doing all the communication, but at least right now, like, that communication couldn't have happened unless you did something, right? Like,
because we created the whole.
we created the
Step, you're saying?
the
Like-
process, yeah, and then the idea of like, hey, do you know someone that doesn't have a website? And then you ask Hunter to do it, like,
Getting the gears going. pretty
right?
much.
I feel like there's something there that we have to give payroll to, at least. You know what I mean? Like, or you could just give that up, right? Like, as well as I can give up, like, no, like, developing websites is just a business, so I don't need to take that money, and we'll take whatever the equity is.
And it's limited too. It's like if you and me do a job too, that's like I'm saying, like say you need money for certain things in the moment, like your food, your rent,
Yeah.
this, and this is your full time thing now, and you're getting $5,000 a week for yourself,
Yeah.
and it's you and I doing a job, and there is no anyone else to pay or anything like that.
Yeah.
Stacking the crumbs is definitely a need, but it's like it's always in the back pocket now. It's like,
Yeah.
This is your job. It's like you're creating an account, you're creating
No, that's
investment,
and that's
trading.
what we really like. It's weird because of course we want to build the business and we want to give the people that are working for us like what they deserve. But
I want to give them all
at the
1,000
end
an
of the
hour.
day, we can't run the business anymore if we can't afford for ourselves to live, which is now based on the business.
It's like, bro, if I can't pay the electric bill for my computer to turn on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like we don't have a business anymore.
Can't email you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's just that's kind of something that we have to, I think, just bite our tongues on, and like that's what it means to be a business owner. Is like you make most of the money, and like you kind of control things.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this is the one.
So payroll. So if that was 100. So for Reyes, for example, so if Pat doesn't touch this site, that's where I don't know really what to do. Like, do I just pay him $0 per hour for the Reyes site? Like.
Well, it's per job. We're getting paid per job, and people get paid per job. That's what we agreed on.
Right.
So like, if Pat is not involved in this website at all, I think that's equal to Mike not being involved as a website.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you didn't do anything for the website, why would we get paid for it?
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same thing. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. All right. So that's not. So then, if for this Reyes one, I would get
see it like
150.
and then it's like you could pay it hourly too, and then it's like, or you just have Pat.
Yeah.
And you pay him 40 hours a week every week, and then you say, we got this many websites. Work on every one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's the
yeah.
You can't do it different with departments. You gotta keep it in sync.
Yeah. So that would be. So then we have 750 to do whatever we want with, because we have no operating expenses, unless we did. Which, like, I mean, so we're gonna go a portion of this. Of course, we want to go to like improving our stuff and subscriptions. So let's like say maybe we put off 100 each check for like
New whatever.
Yeah. Or a percentage. We'll do, if that's 25, then like operating. Just like 10% or something. If we get $6,000, $600 goes to just investing in better shit.
Spending or actually investing?
Like
new
spending.
mics.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Yeah. So that's 10% would be good. $1,000, 100. Yeah, I think I like
investment
that
account.
percentage.
I think we should look into like what percentage structures are.
So this, everything we have there, we need every time, no doubt. The rest, which is
in the contract, or in our personal internal
right.
contract.
Yeah.
Like you and I could sign off on.
Yeah.
That this is our payroll structure. We both agreed like to this.
So then we have 650 left, and it's up to us to be like. Now we can just be like, half of that's mine, half of that's yours.
So do you think that's? See, I don't know. I kind of think this might be too thin of a spread. I think we might need to put like 70-30.
Yeah, maybe.
But then that'd be because then that'd be a weird. Because then it's like $80 for the sales guy per website.
The websites is most of the work though.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
you know what I'm saying. But then it's just fucked. Because then it's
it
like
just feels
$1,000
wrong.
job. And
But
then,
that's what it
here's
is.
$80.
It feels wrong, but I guess that is what it is. Like in any business out there, like talk to the developer, they're making literally double what the fucking sales guy is right next to.
So I think maybe how about we just do a little less for us? We do like payroll, like 35 or like 30.
Or we can do a finder's fee thing.
Like how I was saying.
So it's like, oh, you got $80 for the job because like the work you're putting in, but you found it, so here's an extra $100. Or $50, whatever.
And that'll entice like people to find jobs.
Yeah. If we did this, what was that, 150?
I just don't like. I like the 100 minimum. I don't think anyone should get paid less than 100 for
Less than
anything.
100.
That's kind of like, I don't know. Like if someone's making, like if the excitement's just going to diminish. Like I know the work, they're not doing the work, but it's almost like.
Yeah, I guess so. 100 feels like that.
Like imagine every job,
Yeah.
Pat and Hunter next to each other, and Pat makes 500 every job,
Yeah.
Hunter makes 60. They'd be like, Pat would literally be in a different tax bracket. Like, it's not.
But that's the reality of it. The
It's-
sales guy's never going to be in the same tax
Tech
bracket
sales
as
guys?
a developer.
Tech sales guys, 100%. 100%.
That's if they're making sales.
That's the water, though. That's the thing. It's like if he's making sales and he's a part of
Like
it.
Pat's going to make $500. Say Pat's going to make $500 a site. Every site
Then you need to have a commission structure that is enticing for Hunter and Mike to grow.
to make to get to making the same amount.
Like if you make 10, like your 10 websites you sell will give you this much more per website. You start selling this
Yeah.
much. You've been with us for a year. Like that's usually how it goes. They see if you can actually sell shit, and then they give you rewards for it. It's not you've been here for 3 years. Here's your sales.
Which is also kind of like maybe we can why. Because that's our goal anyway, and that's kind of why they're working for us, because they see that. So, like, if we give them $50 right now for what they're doing, that they said they would do for free, kind of, they'd be fine with it. And then our goal is to grow the company and then be able to pay them more for what they're doing.
The full thing of like,
Yeah.
which one's a website guy.
Right.
You can make 100% of the fucking.
And then we just have more money, like, in the end, to be like,
Yeah.
hey, we could actually pay you now. Even if it, and that's, I was thinking that before, like, even if we, say we fucking were like, hey guys, we're not going to pay you for the next year. Like, we're not, obviously not going to do that, but say we did that, and they quit or didn't quit, and then at a year,
Pay them off.
say we had 100,000 in our bank account, like, and we're like, here's $5,000 for the work you did over whatever it was, you know, like, that's, we're now able, or now we can pay you $20,000 over the next year, or $40,000 over the next year, because we have this base, and if you keep going the trajectory that we're going, then it just keeps going from there. But it does feel weird giving them less money right now, but we don't have much money. Like, like, it keeps coming back to, like, in the end, dude, they have full-time jobs, most of them, and they're like, don't pay rent.
I can't pay my bills.
Like, we are like,
Yeah,
literally
like,
don't have jobs anymore.
I'm never
This
living
is
in
our job.
Massachusetts again. I swear to God. New York over Mass any day. The food's better. If I'm gonna pay a shit ton of money, I want the vibe.
Yeah.
I want the culture. I don't need none of this shit.
Like, the whole idea is to allow us to
Oh my
live
God.
so that we can provide them more in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
That's it.
they would be running their own company and do the same thing, you know? Like, I think there is a giant portion that, like, belongs to us that doesn't feel like it belongs to us.
You quit your job.
Yeah,
I quit my job.
exactly. Yeah.
That's it. We started. We both quit our full-time jobs that we got degrees for,
Yeah.
and now we're like taking the risk and going with it. And these guys, I love that they're all on and they all have full-time jobs. And then it's like, that's my goal. I was saying is to get so many jobs. I'm gonna get you to quit. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more websites to get Pat to quit his job.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to get so many ads and SEO work for Luke that he has to quit his job
Yeah.
full time. And then I'm trying to get Mike and Hunter to the point where they could be selling so many websites,
Yeah.
and we could be giving these, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything is
Right.
just unison. It's
Right.
the roots to the tree, bro.
Yeah, that's true. And right now, it's for us, right? Like, right now, everything we're doing is so that I can quit my job. Or, like, everything you were doing is so I can quit my job, or you can quit your job. And then now
Layers.
everything we're doing is, like, so we have to do that for a little bit. Like, now everything we're doing is so that we can have quit our job. And then it moves on, like you're saying. Oh, well, now I can provide for you so you can quit your job.
If you don't take a sacrifice for yourself, you cannot go around telling other people to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
I think that's a common theme today. It's just a lot of directing, a lot of saying, do this, this, this. I think you should do this. And that's just like a false reality they never lived.
Yeah.
Versus you convincing yourself of that false reality you never lived, and you taking that risk. And then now you're realizing it's really not that bad. It's like
Yeah.
the guy who jumps off in the deep water and he's like, oh, hey guys, it's not that bad out here.
Yeah.
And everyone else does it. And then they're like, hey, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
It's like you start to see all these
That's
people.
it. That is what it feels like.
Yeah, like all these people were saying, don't do this. And then we started doing it. And then we're kind of on the other side saying, hey, it's actually not that bad. And then we're seeing people that we knew from high school
Yeah.
over there doing their own shit. And we're like, oh shit, they're here too. We
Yeah.
hey, what's up, bro? How the fuck you been?
Yeah.
You're doing this? You're fucking running a business now? You're running? Oh, you're doing this? You're doing... It's fucking amazing, dude. I love it.
So this 650, should we just split? What do we do with this? This is what confuses me.
This is what we decide on. So like the
Yeah.
equity part of it.
So what is the benefit of keeping this in the bank account for
Write
the business?
payroll and then write equity right here.
Yeah.
That's what you need to like get the main difference of. Equity, now you need a list of percentages like you have here of what you want to use your equity for.
So the rest is going to equity, right? So 25,
Yeah.
35, 65. Okay.
Why 65?
That's
Oh,
the
because
rest of it.
payroll. It's
That's 100%.
it's 55.
35. 65.
What's operating temp?
85, 95, 100.
This is in equity. Operating is in equity.
No, because this would come from, like, these are wrapped together.
This is for us.
This, yeah, like for the business.
Then that's equity.
No, because equity is different than revenue. You'd be using your revenue to pay for this. Equity
What is $100 going to?
microphones, like we were saying before.
Oh, kind of like you need it for the job and shit.
Keyboard.
Yeah, yeah. Put in parentheses here, credit card. 'Cause we need a specific card for these, for like what we're saying, and then put for payroll, put credit card number 2, and then we use this credit card number. Yeah, use that credit card to pay through ADP or whatever software for payroll that debits accounts via
Mhm.
credit. Pay with that through that to get the points, and then that account would be separate for payroll, and then we would have pretty much this credit card for these operating expenses, write-offs, etc., business meetings, whatever. So gas, anything in between,
Yeah.
that'd be this card. So just maybe write like examples, business meetings, microphone, business meetings, materials for work,
Yeah.
gas, anything like that.
It's kind of, there's got to be a word. It's just kind of just operating, I guess.
I guess, yeah, just
Operating
put
expenses.
put expenses though. Then the equity. So this would be like our, I think, part of it, an investment account. I think that'd be huge. So
Do you want to do that right now? Because I don't, to be honest.
well, equities. Okay, yeah, I do.
I just like right now. I'd like to make enough money to support myself before I start
Yeah, no,
having
for sure.
business investments at least.
No,
And
yeah.
maybe use the money that I'm having to
Oh,
invest
yeah,
in myself.
For sure.
But
So
I
then this,
agree.
just do fucking 40, 40, 40, 40. So that'd be. I can't do the math. I don't know if you have a. And this can even stem as well. So like this is this is like hard.
Mhm.
This, especially for you and I, could vary literally based on the
Yeah,
day.
we could literally be like, I don't want it. You know, like keep it in the account.
No, like-
yeah. Like,
You could wake up one day and you could be feeling good and you have all this money and the
Yeah.
market's up and you're like, oh, Jared, here's your 350.
Yeah.
And you're like, honestly, put it back in the company.
yeah,
And then now it's like, now that is in the company. And then I'm like, oh shit, I really need this 350.
yeah.
I'm going to take it.
But so I guess also, so then this is where my brain gets a little jumbled. Is like, would that just always be staying in the? Well, I guess the goal is to have that always stay in the account. Your equity is always in the account, so you never have to take from it, and then you can live off of your payroll. Because we're always getting paid for doing the work we're doing, and then 65% is actually going to the company.
Exactly. I think you're seeing the difference between the payroll and equity more now.
Right. Yeah.
Payroll and equity, like this is you. Like this isn't, you know what I mean? Like if it's
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
like if you and me do this, so basically if you and me do this
I'm
whole
like, oh,
thing,
I only make $300 for this job. It's like, no, I did.
no,
the
you're
job.
probably gonna make 700,
Yeah.
and then I'm probably gonna make 300,
Yeah.
and then it's like, whatever it may be, whatever the math comes out to. So then it's like, development. So this is payroll 25%, and then you'd make 100 What's 75? What's 70% of 250?
70%, 250. 175.
So 175, and then the other 75 for sales. Jared, Matt, you'd make 175 bucks, and then the 40% of the 650 would be. So you see the equity split like that, and then this is split on the weight.
Yeah.
I like that. I like these numbers a lot.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Do you like those numbers?
Yeah.
Why do I like 75 more than 88? Is it just because it's clean?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And then, I guess for this, the rest, we should just keep. What do you want the rest of the 20% to be?
So that'd
If
be
we weren't doing investments.
20%, and then do 10% for HSA. Actually, no, we don't need that yet. Fuck that.
Also, HSA,
Is an investment account.
yeah, I don't know.
Health
It's like an
savings account.
investment emergency fund, it feels like.
Health savings account that invests your money instead of you just paying monthly payments.
Right, yeah,
and
yeah.
you have a debit card
Yeah.
for emergencies.
Yeah.
Versus,
So really we don't want that ever.
no.
Unless,
That's what I was saying. We're
yeah.
not doing we don't have a construction
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
We're not
yeah.
on site. We don't really, God bless, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not,
yeah.
hopefully no
But
accidents.
insurance is expensive, but that's something would be
To look
ideal.
into.
We have 2 years to do that though, because we're still on our parents' insurance.
Nice.
And we literally won't have to do that. If we want to get that through a business rather than getting a job that has the benefits and we want to do it ourselves, we have 2 years basically to figure that out. So
Fair.
if we could get enough money to just have a fund, all right, this is our 2-year insurance fund now, that could work rather than fucking just trying to make it work now.
That investment thing I think is huge too. I don't think it needs to be a huge thing, but I think now that you broke that down more and how you're getting paid, that changes as much as we need to. But simply us growing the business as a software tech company,
Mhm.
whatever, versus us growing our business and then we have a motto, the only things we invest in are tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
So everything in our portfolio is either blue chip, innovation, solid, we know it's established,
Yeah.
high growth, things people are seeing are above. All these things we talk about.
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
different
yeah.
companies, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, whatever it may be. And then that may be, say 5%. So I'm curious, what is that? 5% of 650.
5% is
37.
30, yeah, something. 33, 32.50.
Yeah. That's right. 32.50. So then every job you get, 32.50.
Goes into investment.
That will be literally, boom, out in the head. We'll have a Chase investment account or some type, whatever software we want to go through for investments,
Mhm.
linked with our Chase, or linked however, and then every time we put a check in, we just take 32.50 out or whatever the percentage is, and we put it into that account. So then we're like, oh, we got 10 jobs this week. We also invested 350 into the market.
Yeah.
We got 400 jobs this week, and then it's like, oh shit! So now we're paying people, we're paying ourselves with the equity. We're having a very small number, $30, or we can do even less. It could be 1%.
Yeah.
But then you see our company just overall is going to have that in the shadows in the background.
So
growing
what does
like
that
an
do?
investment.
What's the goal with that in the end? Obviously it grows.
To support other things just to help increase investing. You get it. One, make more money to increase things like getting those insurances, getting those approvals for the health savings accounts with the proper things, whatever we need to get in the future. Just money, if you want to get a property, now we have, investing, just bringing the
Yeah.
financial part of it.
So is there what type of account? Can you have an individual business broker account?
I'm curious if you can have one on there.
Isn't it really whenever you see an investment account for a business, it's a retirement account, right? But we don't fucking want that. we want something like an individual broker.
There definitely is, and most of them, I would assume, some of the big boys probably got minimums.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Something like that, I think would be big, and not even the sense of just like, oh, make money, blah blah, but just another variable for us to realize, like, oh, kind of how we have sales guys under us. The goal is for eventually to take the weight off of us.
Yeah.
The goal is for us to, have this fully operating with our vision in place, and not just like automate it and run away.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the same thing applies.
I think for this we should say, just give ourselves the money right now, and then
Just fuck it.
over time be like, or set an amount that we get to, and we're like, all right, if we have this amount, just we can do whatever the fuck we want with. We'll put it all in.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah. We need an account minimum still. We still have that account minimum to keep as well. So like keeping money in that account
325 is nice too.
is not horrible.
Yeah, the minimum in the account is good. So
I feel like I'm actually gonna like get paid now that I see it. It's always been the case, but
yeah,
we haven't talking about it.
Well, no, now we have all this money in our account. We actually have to do something with it.
All this money is a big
I don't
term.
know, because we should keep that one in for the 2,000.
That's a good joke. We have no money in the account. That's like the best joke I've ever heard in my life.
We should keep the 2,000 in, so we don't get fined monthly. But we could dish out the 482 that's in there.
Also paying
Well,
off.
technically,
things.
we actually some of that went to the gas already.
So leaving the money in the account to pay off the payroll credit, to pay off other thing credits, having those on auto pay help us with the credit score, as you know.
Yeah.
So kind of going through that gist.
I'd say right now, at least. Maybe.
Right. Just yank $250 each.
Yeah, like just keep Annie's in there, and then split whatever's from Rye.
I'm down. Yeah, I could do that. I'm always like, just give me $150. You take $350.
Well, I guess technically we have to pay Pat. Pat do work any on that? I'll ask him.
Send him $100. Send me $150, and then you take $250 for yourself.
Wait, so we have. So actually, I'm gonna take out the $18 we spend on gas. Which actually, what's 10% of that anyway? $46. So we just split this up into what we actually fucking said. It does really end up coming to us anyway, but so 25% to payroll would be.
Ty, especially, like, we were there.
Yeah.
Like, we drove there twice. And
20, 50.
also, you have to realize, too, you have to give yourself credit with, like, who's going to be doing most of these support issues that are tedious. It's going to be you. I usually go to you for most of those things.
Yeah.
So, and most of these guys are going to go to you. I would assume Pat included. So.
And then equity is the rest, which is.
I'm taking that money, though, and I'm going to try to grab materials, though, for the event. I'm trying to create that event. Like a beach cleanup, something like that. I got the garbage sticks for it. The bags, the gloves. Maybe get some masks.
So use this. The rest of this. For that.
For what?
For the beach cleanup shit. So we used $18 of this.
Or we could use that for gas for the next.
Over gas. Or, I mean, it's.
We'll go get
how much
lunch
money
today.
is it?
Let's go get lunch today.
We
4 to
don't
6.
gotta use it.
Every time. We're like, that's why I said fucking 5% for the investment account. And then you tell me to go spend $40 on signs. This is why we need an investment account. So it's not just sitting there for us to use.
But I don't know, because like that's the difference in like, do you want to use the money to try and grow the business? Maybe it goes to waste.
Both. I think.
Or,
I think
yeah, ideally both.
I think we can operate on both, and you understand investing, and so do I.
Yeah.
So like, even having it earlier is not like we need more money because we both know how it is with investing. You don't need more money.
Yeah.
You just need $1 a day, or whatever it may be. Like as long as you're investing, you're ahead of a curve by a mile. It's insane.
Yeah.
It was like $5 a day, bro. It's fucked. You're like stats like bracket you put yourself in of not spending $5 a day versus spending $5 a day,
Yeah.
and then switch that up to like $100 a day or whatever it may be. She's going crazy. She looks like a human when she does that.
All right. 120 to payroll, and then payroll. We'll give Pat for Ty's website like 2 hours, $50.
Yeah, that's good. Shooting $50. And I like the sales not getting paid hourly because that varies, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be more on you. Like Hunter, very impressive, pulling that in 3 days, getting everything he needed, establishing that. You know what I mean? And now he's like, oh shit, I just made whatever in 3 days.
Yeah.
Versus he's like, hey guys, this guy's not getting back to me. It's taking forever, and then it's gonna entice him to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like get it back, not wait a week for a call. Or
That's
whatever.
also the problem with the. Now this kind of puts it into perspective that like it would suck, if we accepted only 100 up front, going forward, and like Hunter is like, oh, he got this job. He talked to the guy, and we only have $100 to give him, which would only be 25. We don't have $25 to give out, you know. Yeah, it's over the next 10 months, 6 months, but it's $25 a month instead of here, Hunter, here's $200 for the job.
I
Like
texted Dorfman about it and see what he says. I'm curious, but
that
I'll break
actually
down a little more.
puts that into perspective a lot.
You have to pay people.
Yeah, and it has to be not like you were saying $100 limit. Like I think that is a big thing. Like if someone just gave me $10 for something, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. You give me $100, I'm like, I'm gonna do it again. But okay, so that's good. And then Pat, and then the rest is us, which is, I guess I gotta split that up into percentage though. Oh, it's annoying. Can we get a payroll guy? So I would have to do 70.
We could definitely have someone fucking make us a payroll thing.
I could just make an auto payroll based on this logic. It actually would be genius.
My aunt does HR. She actually
We
does a
don't need her.
podcast. The one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Dude, actually, this would be a really cool program of, I could write something where you enter the amount and, like, some details, and then it does all of it, and it's like, give this amount.
Yeah, you could do that on Excel.
Yeah.
Put that into the code, too. It's fucking... It's a lookup.
120, 50 times 30 percent, 36. Doesn't. So then, payout would be Jared, Matt, and Pat.
And every document could have this where you plug it in and then you have to...
Yeah.
I like that.
That would be fire.
Bro, and then you could link that to our whole sales system internally.
Yeah.
And it's a whole step
It's a
through
whole
for
system,
Bro. It can go from you just typing in a location, be like Garnival, and then there's 15 different industries with all these numbers, and then it's like add or remove.
Yeah.
And then you add it, and then it adds it to whatever, and then you get to the final confirmation. And the only way our internal sales guys could get to this is like upload signed contract.
Yeah.
Upload this. And it's just automating it internally, not externally.
Yeah. That's fire.
I think that's the difference of. Damn, I think we just put the chain together. Because I feel like we had the front end of the chain, which started with Mike saying automate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, just speed up the sales process and do this. But then now I feel like we have the end chain of it now, where we're like, holy shit, we can create a whole system
Yeah.
of like, this could be the start of looking up something on the map by location. It's that easy. this gives you a list of 50 things, and then you just have to get someone to sign these documents that are already in the system.
Yeah.
You just you press send email, send this, send them this, send them this, send them that, send them that, send them that. And it just steps you through kind of internally.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I actually have to redo these calculations. 120, 50 minus 50. Yeah, that's actually the amount we're getting. Times 0.7. 49, 35. 21. 15, and then this would be plus 207. You would be 78, 80.
You want to write like total here? Like in parentheses or something?
I guess it's Pat isn't really 2 hours or whatever. I'll figure that out. But so then this should
Everything
be,
else was on percentages, and then the one was just 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
because it also threw me off because 435. Why is this shit not adding up?
I don't think how Pat. You're going on two different variables. So why'd you start at 482?
So 482 is the amount we have. Oh,
Start
actually,
at 500.
yeah.
Start at 500, and then go off the percentages you have up top.
Yeah. All right.
How much
Payroll
is going into payroll?
is total 70%.
70%
Or 25%. My bad.
25%. 125. There's the first mistake.
Yeah. All right. And then minus. Well, all right. So then how do we want to pay? Am I getting paid hourly as well? I guess.
Go on your prompts. Go on what you just did. You have to go on it. You can't
Development,
go on
it
anything else.
just says 70%, 175. 70% goes to development.
Yes. So go down, and I'll do developers, Pat and Jared, 70%. That's what you need to do. You two are developers in the project.
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah.
And then how much of hours did you each put in? That goes from the 70%. Or if you want to just break it down and split it by percentages. You can't go off percentages and hourly. That's what you're doing wrong. You're going off two variables that don't matter. You're trying to pay him on 2 hours of work and then pay
Yeah.
yourself on a percentage of a check.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. That's equity. That's not your revenue and his revenue.
Yeah.
It needs to be same. And me included. Like same. With the percentage.
How I see it though is like your hourly is your percentage.
You guys are together though. You're in a different department. So you two are 70%. So what's 70% of that? I think. Of 125.
87.50.
87.50 between you and Pat.
So there's 87.50 for development. How much do I want to give Pat out of that?
Yes, that's you.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And then sales is
37.50.
And then in this case, if it was like for example, say this was me and Hunter on this, right? I'm deciding how much of that 37.50 I'm giving him.
Yeah.
And like in this case for Reyes, I'm like, okay, how much work do you do? How much am I directing to? How much am I doing? Versus if you just pass it off to me, this will kind of be that variable of like how much the sales guys will get, which I'll decide on.
Yeah. Okay. And then that's that.
Those are set. You decide how much Pat gets paid. I decide how much Hunter might get paid.
Yeah.
Keep it easy like
Yeah.
that, all right?
Yeah, and then equity would be the rest, which is 500 minus 125 minus. Well, I actually have to do 10% again. 500 times 10% 100. No, I'm retarded. 50.
It's 50.
50 minus 18.
32.
32. Okay, that's left over.
500 minus 157.
343.
43. Split that in half.
$171.50. Oh wait. Okay, and then down here,
I like it.
171.50 plus.
Someone's going to be watching this and seeing us doing payroll on a notepad and you're going to be freaking out. Like,
Yeah,
so
right.
many software, so many things you can do. Enter percentage, it does it.
All right, so I guess so. This is all you,
Trying
right?
to make the software. That's why.
So this is 171.50 plus 37.50 is 209.
Is that accurate? Oh no, I was up there. I was like, damn.
And then I get 71
And then how much?
plus 87.50 is 259. And if I give Pat 50, I'd also have 209.
That works out.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's the percentage is working.
That's
out.
how it
That's
works.
What I was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
That's what I think I was trying to say,
Yeah.
and you were kind of thinking they were different.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to say like you guys are under the same category of this development. You want to put development so I know? I'm an idiot.
But that still doesn't add up.
Well, can I see what you're adding up if you don't mind?
Yeah.
You're adding 209 plus 50. That's 468. 468 because your operating expense is 32. Fucking
Yeah, that's perfect.
A boy can code a website. Two-step math is lacking. It's funny as hell. Big
All
old.
right. We'll end this podcast now.
I love it.
I don't even know if it was going correctly for the last hour, but
Fuck it, we'll figure it out. Check us out, the official website, guys. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to helping your community in any way possible. Matt,
Jared.
have a go and be safe. Laugh a little. It's life. Don't take it too serious.